It was great to come back. I love playing Gail. It was really emotional because it's something that means a lot to us, and we've been a part of it for so long. And it was sad without Wes, but these two new directors are incredible. You'd be proud.
Mm-hmm. I love making these movies. They're a blast. They're funny, they're scary, they're challenging. The writing is always great. The new cast are always, this cast especially, are really, really wonderful. I love working with these two. I love seeing where Sidney is next time round. So yeah, always fun to play in this genre.
Yeah, again, I love playing Dewey. It's just having the opportunity to play a character for 25 years has been just so great, and acting with these two, it's been great. It was hard coming to the set without Wes, obviously, and without the crew, because a lot of the same crew had done the other films, so that was difficult as well. But it was great. It was, you know, a wonderful new group. These new actors, this new group of young actors reminded me a lot of us when we were younger too.
My character has changed. She's kind of, she's more sophisticated. She lives in New York. She's the anchor on a morning news program. It's not probably like real news, but she's, I think her personal life isn't so great, but her professional life is exactly what she wants.
Sidney, over the years, you know, she went from obviously really struggling when she was young and having a lot of hits, and overcoming those and becoming stronger and less of a victim and more of a fighter, and goes through stages of moving into isolation and then coming out of isolation, and now we find her in a place where she's content in her life, and she's a mom, and she's living away, and she's happy, and then of course Woodsboro pulls her back.
They should change the name of that town.
Seriously.
Dewey, it's been through a long, he's been injured a lot, so he then had a limp. He worked really hard to rehabilitate. He's living in a trailer and, you know, having a little bit of a tough time at the moment.
The directors really honored his work and him. When we walked on the set, it was emotional, but then you could feel him there, and there was a sign that said Wes, because one of the characters was having a party, or was a party for him. And, I mean...
Yeah, I think we all wanted to make sure that the directors were sort of in the same mindset as Wes. Really wanted to honor his journey in these films, and you know, we had conversations. There were times on set where both Matt and Tyler would come up and say, "Do you think Wes would? What do you think he would think?" And so he was very much with us. You know, there was an absence, but there was also his presence. I mean, he was definitely a big part of our conversations on set all the time.
Yeah, I read Wes's biography. It was really great to like kind of see like his journey, like where he came from, and his inspiration for filmmaking and why he did certain things.
I was a huge fan of the original films, and getting that call in that moment was, of course, anytime you get any job, I think it's amazing, and you feel so happy and so fulfilled and relieved because you've been like waiting for the call. But I think in the moment when I got the call, I couldn't really grasp the how big the franchise is, and I was excited to do my first horror movie. And then when the cast was announced and the fans welcomed us into the franchise and, you know, welcome to the family, and it was such a warm, beautiful welcome from the fandom that's when I realized, oh my God, this is huge. And that's when I got terrified. I was like, oh my God, what have I gotten into?
Yeah, I have a weird history with Scream. I was 4 years old, trick-or-treating for the first time. The original Scream had just come out. There were so many kids out there dressed like Ghostface, and they just all terrified me. There was this one mask that it was kind of translucent, and you could work a pump and have blood poured down it. And I remember seeing that and being like, no, I don't want to do horror movies. I don't want to watch anything scary. I'm good just whatever, just playing in the sand and eating apples. I don't know what kids do. But the thing is, after that, I started to, get acquainted with horror movies a little bit more. And when I was a teenager, I started with things like Shaun of the Dead, like stuff that's funny but also scary. And then I worked my way to Scream, and it was just amazing. It's kind of like a gateway drug of horror. You watch it and it references so many other movies that you want to check out after that. So once you can handle Scream, you can handle Halloween, you can handle Friday the 13th or any of those movies. So it's incredible. So when I got the call for this, I jumped at the chance. I couldn't believe my luck, not only to be a part of a franchise that I care so much about, but also to do something with incredible people, not just the legacy cast, but all of you wonderful new faces for this franchise as well.
For me, I was ecstatic. I was a huge fan of the franchise, and oftentimes when you watch something, you don't get to become a part of it after. So I think that it was a pretty surreal experience. And I remember that when I filmed the self-tape for this job, the pandemic had just started. It was the first and only tape I've ever filmed with my sisters, which it's hard to be serious when your sister is trying to seriously act across from you, but also has no interest in acting at all. I didn't hear anything for months, so I figured that it was gone. And then I got a call to read with Melissa. And then 2-3 days later, I got a call that I was going to be flying out to Wilmington, North Carolina to shoot this job. And it was really, really exciting for me. And I couldn't believe it. It all happened so fast. And it was something that I was really excited about. And it was just, I'm an incredibly lucky person.
I am such a huge fan of the franchise, and I was proceeding knowing that I was going to be in this film. So, I was very persistent about wanting to be in this movie. When I knew it was a possibility, I especially became persistent. I let it be known that I wanted to be in this. It's like a bucket list kind of thing for me to be able to be in a movie with these characters, and some of my favorite characters of all time, my favorite horror icon killer of all time. I'm still pinching myself, honestly.
Both Dylan and I are fans first, and so the opportunity to join the cast of this incredible franchise was just an honor. And I know originally I had actually auditioned for the first Scream. It was the hottest project in town, and everyone was clamoring to be a part of it. And so when I finally got my moment and got to join up in the fourth installment, I was beyond thrilled. And then to get to be in this one, I mean, I'm pinching myself. I play Sheriff Judy Hicks. I was originally introduced in Scream 4 as Deputy Judy Hicks, and I've now been promoted to Sheriff. And this is my son I'd like to introduce you to. His name is Wes Hicks.
I'm Wes. Love my mom. Wes, I think, is a little bit of a mom's boy. I think but he doesn't want to let her know that. I think he really respects her and wants to follow in her shoes and being very cautious. And I think he carries that over with his friends. He's very overprotective. Not overprotective, he's protective of them and trying to keep them safe when Tara is first attacked, the first attack that happens in this movie. And I think Wes feels attached to her, and he feels attached to his friends, and he really wants to protect everyone. And I think it makes him a little bit of a easy target for his friends to sort of make fun of him a little bit. I feel like he's the nice guy punching bag in this movie, but hopefully I'll love him for it. Being able to be in a Scream movie alone is incredible, but especially when it involves legacy cast members and like Marley. And it's a dream come true. Like, it's already a dream come true to work with actors that you love and respect so much, but especially characters in a story and in a world that I already love and respect. It's a second to none feeling. I'm thrilled. I'm over the moon about it. It's great. It's really, really, I never thought I'd be doing this.
I had to earn my legacy status because in 4 I was a newbie, and now here I am legacy. So I had to earn my bragging rights. But I remember feeling in 4 just a little bit starstruck working with Neve and Courteney and David because I was such a fan of the movies, and so there was that moment of, oh my gosh, I'm acting with these guys. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt and Tyler of Radio Silence, our directing team, they just bring such an enthusiasm. It's infectious. It permeates the whole atmosphere on set. And they also run a really smooth, stress-free environment. And I think that kind of affects everybody and encourages everyone to do their best work. I think we can all unanimously say we had a blast making this film, and it's largely due to the atmosphere that Matt and Tyler created, for sure.
Absolutely. I think the audiences can expect to leave feeling really fulfilled and like you've crossed every spectrum of emotions in this movie. Fear, laughter, tears, everything. I think this movie has everything for everyone, and hopefully it leaves you with the same feeling that you felt when watching the first Scream, and whenever that was. And if you haven't seen the first Scream, hopefully that feeling happens for you as well as a new viewer. So
I think it's going to be the thrill ride that everyone's hoping for, and it's wildly entertaining. It's got the laughs, it's got the terrifying jump scare moments, and everything in between.
Getting the call to be in Scream 5 was really exciting, and I think we were both thrilled that the original cast members were joining as well.
What was my reaction to getting the call? It was literally a scream, no pun intended, but yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I play a character named Amber. She is a high schooler at Woodsboro and best friends with Tara. She's very protective and a very loyal friend as well.
I play the character Liv, and she is relatively new to the friend group, and they're all high school students, and she's dating Chad. And I feel like she's still figuring out who she is, and at times she can be a little bit misunderstood by her friends.
Working with the Legacy cast was an incredible experience and very surreal, like to be doing scenes with Sidney Prescott. I think we were all really excited and humbled to be able to do that.
Yeah, working with the Legacy cast was like such a like an honor, and just one of those moments in your life where you're like, is this really happening? And just learning from them and kind of seeing how they were still so happy and excited to be there, and years, after the last film that they shot, and it was really beautiful to see them come back into the characters that we've loved and admired, and be a part of that is really surreal.
Working with the filmmakers was incredible, and I think we have developed such incredible friendships with them. Like Matt and I have a movie club. Well, I guess it's not really a club because it's just us, but we watch movies and like talk about them over the phone, and I'm just, it's...
I want to be in the club. They really know the genre, and they also are such big fans of the Scream franchise and of Wes, and they just wanted to really honor him and kind of make this film as like a love letter to the genre, to Wes, and to Scream, and so being a part of it with them was just like a blessing.
I'm embarrassed to tell you, I was not. But that's not my fault. I blame my mother. I wasn't allowed to watch many films. But as time went on, I became a big fan. While we were shooting the film, actually, I watched the first film, and then the second, and then the third, and then the fourth, and went, oh, no. I hope I do a good job, because this is incredible. And now it's this, I understand the legacy, I understand the great honor, I understand the impact, and I hope that I do right by the fans.
I would love to talk about Chad Martin Meeks, the nephew of Randy, played by the incredible Jamie Kennedy, and I would start by saying he's a football player. He's dating Liv and twins with one Mindy. And apart from being a potential killer, he's certainly a killer of charm. He's a nice guy.
Oh, you did that.
Sweet with the words, and
that.
and got bruises on his arms, and that's probably
What are the bruises from?
football. Obviously,
Oh, that wasn't suspicious at all.
Hey, anyone could be the killer.
Anyone. I play Mindy Meeks Martin, not Martin Meeks, by the way.
Did I say Martin Meeks?
You sure did.
That's really pathetic.
But that's okay. No, words like pathetic, we don't need to use those words about ourselves.
Pathetique.
Mindy Meeks Martin Meeks Martin is the twin of Chad Martin Meeks Martin. And Mindy is unapologetically herself. She's here. She's queer. She's a woman of color. And she's the movie nerd. She's the movie buff. She knows all about horror. She knows the rules for surviving. She's smart. She's got her own fashion sense, and I really like it. And I'd say that she's the one that keeps things moving, keeps saying, is it you, is it you, is it you, is it you? Could it be you? Could it be me? Yeah, Mindy's really in charge.
Anyone could be the killer. I would say so.
Yeah.
They can expect a movie in line and in the same vein of the original Scream, while also being updated, modernized, and made to feel of the times. I feel the original Scream is nothing if not incredibly timeless.
Working with Matt and Tyler and Chad and William was truly the greatest honor. I had seen them I'd seen their work in Ready or Not and thought it was absolutely beautiful. This is soothing me. This is really soothing. I haven't had physical touch in a while. Working with them was an honor. I love them. They were very collaborative. They wanted us to really infuse ourselves into our roles, and they invited our feedback. They invited our input, and I love them. I mean, we're all a little family, as you can see. We snuggle and we have dinner, and I really like both of those things.
I hope we get dinner tonight.
Me too.
Getting the call to join such an iconic franchise was pretty surreal, especially because I think oftentimes when you're a fan of something, you don't ever really get the opportunity to participate in it or become a part of its world. So that's pretty special and a really cool factor in my job, but also just being a fan of Scream myself, I love it when I do jobs that force me to kind of use a muscle in a different way or kind of push me to be my absolute best. So wanting to do this franchise justice, and I think it really pushed me, which is a nice feeling. In the Scream film, I play Tara Carpenter, who is a teenager, goes to Woodsboro High, is I think very attentive and caring and loyal to her loved ones. But she also has a good sense of humor and likes to mess around and doesn't take herself too seriously. Working with the legacy cast, well, they are Scream. So as soon as they showed up, I think everything really started to feel real, and was a really special experience, especially because I have immense respect for them, and they're so talented and also just the kindest, sweetest humans. Legacy and careers aside, just really wonderful professional people to work with, and created such a sweet environment on set that it really allows you to put yourself in the place that you need to shoot something like this. Matt, Tyler, Radio Silence are some of my favorite directors I've ever worked with. It was really incredible watching them work. I've never worked with duo directors before, but it works and led to my favorite set experience ever. They're very, very gifted at what they do. Also really cool people, such horror nerds, and seeing how much faith they had in the project and how much they put in, and how thoughtful they were being, and why they would put the camera in certain places, or light a scene a certain way, or the way I think that one of the camera lenses they used, they actually made a custom-made lens and took some of the glass out of the filter to make it more reminiscent of the original films. I don't know, they really put their heart and soul into this film, and I think it's quite evident, and it's really special to witness something like that and be a part of it, and I'm just really grateful that they chose me. audiences can expect from Scream a good time. It's spontaneous and keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's interactive in a way that a lot of films aren't. And it's meta, it's very self-aware. It has a very special sense of humor. And also, I think that this Ghostface is a lot more intimidating than we've ever seen him before. So I think that there are some genuine jump scares or genuine fright in the viewing experience, which I think will be really fun for audiences.
I mean, it's an honor. It's surreal.
A dream come true.
A dream come true.
We're pinching ourselves every second of every day. Yeah, you know, we became a part of this process of this movie in a way that for us was very unique, you know, coming up in the indie world. Well, first in the DIY, you know, making everything with our own dime, you know, kind of world, and then into the indie world where you're usually like fighting and scrapping to become a part of a project. This was one that was brought to us, and which is just still sounds insane coming, you know, when we say it. But this was one that Jamie and Guy had been writing for a couple of months after Jamie and the guys at Project X heard that Gary at Spyglass had you know purchased the library and that Scream was a part of that. Jamie immediately raised his hand as a huge fan of the Scream movies and you know declared that he wanted to be a part of reviving it. Brought Guy Busick on board, and they wrote a script, and then we had a meeting at Spyglass a few months later where we found out that Guy and Jamie, who we knew had been writing something in secret, were actually writing the next Scream movie. And then a week after that, we were invited in to read the script. And I think we're still obviously early in the life of what this project is, but it's already been life-changing for us. We'll never forget the moment of reading the script for the first time and just knowing like, wow, things are gonna be different after this. What an incredible gift.
Honoring Wes was, I think, it's the number one ingredient in this movie. And that started from before we got involved. That started from Project X and Guy and Jamie. It was, how do we make this movie good, stand on its own, but also make this a love letter to Wes Craven, to Scream, to his entire filmography. And, you know, it's something that we thought about every day. We'd ask ourselves on set, what would Wes do? How would Wes approach this? How would he handle this moment? And I think it's something that hopefully, you know, we all felt it on set and talking to the original cast members, Neve, David, and Courteney, a lot about it and the experience they had and how we could bring that into our making of the movie. And then also in finishing the movie, it was just really making sure that there was never a false note or never anything that would do a disservice to the stuff that Wes has created. Because to us, that's the number one thing that we have to make sure works at the end of the day, is that it does his legacy justice.
I'd also say too that, you know, I think that we've been honoring Wes in all of our work because of his influence on us as filmmakers.
Yeah, kind of without knowing it.
Yeah, and so in this weird way, in like a true crazy meta sense, you know, using the tools that we learned from him to now carry on his legacy. I don't think there was a way we couldn't honor him weirdly, just in how much he has shaped who we are as filmmakers. Well, working with the Legacy cast was just surreal because obviously our experience with them up to the moment of meeting them in person for the first time was as fans of their work and fans not only of their work but of the characters that they were then going to be playing in this movie. So there was this sort of split brain experience on set where, you know, half of us was like just always fanned out, you know, watching the monitors going, wow, we're watching the next Scream movie, and then quickly realizing, well, we're here, we have a job to do. We actually have to direct these actors, and we have to make this movie. And it was like that the entire process. I think, you know, they welcomed us into the experience of what these movies are and the family that Wes had created. They welcomed us in so generously and were so kind over the course of the process.
And helped guide us along the way.
And I think I think they knew that they were aware of our level of fandom and really, I think, helped us feel comfortable in the process of working with them. And then the new cast
was just incredible. I mean, we could spend an hour talking about every single member of the new cast. They they exceeded our expectations on every level. They're the kindest, nicest, most talented people we've ever met. They were just a true joy to work with. And honestly, I'd go make 20 more movies with this crew, this cast.
Yeah, making a movie is like a really intense experience, and if a relationship, a friendship, and a connection can survive the intensity of that, that's really meaningful. And I mean, they're all dear friends. We text with them.
Yeah, they're
we text
incredible.
with them every day.